Robert De Niro, an industry legend, has enthralled audiences across the globe with his exceptional performances and unwavering commitment to his profession. De Niro has established an association with the discipline of method acting by fully engaging in characters that represent a wide range of human emotions.
Dad. What the f*** happened? The birds lose. I lose a fortune to Randy. What the f*** did you do? You f***ing lost it. I thought you said you had it together.
Throughout his career in the film industry, he has created a legacy of iconic figures that have touched the lives of millions. As the chronicles of De Niro progress, the narrative of an individual whose name resonates throughout the annals of cinematic annals as an archetype of fervor and tenacity emerges. Embark with us on an investigation into the life of the enduring artist Robert De Niro, whose legacy continues to inspire. The birth date of Robert De Niro is August 17, 1943. Originating from the dynamic thoroughfares of New York City, De Niro has established an impeccable reputation in the film industry during his more than 5 decades in the industry. De Niro has achieved screen legend status due to his versatile nature and impassioned acting style. His characters are ingrained in the collective memory of audiences worldwide. De Niro has demonstrated an extraordinary versatility in his portrayals, ranging from the adversarial mafia boss in The Godfather Part 2 to the troubled boxer Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull. His adeptness at exploring profound depths of the characters' psyches has garnered him 2 Academy Awards and the esteem of both industry experts and detractors. In addition to his proficiency in acting, De Niro is widely acclaimed as a director and producer who possesses an acute sense of what makes for an engaging narrative. Nonetheless, De Niro's life story in the background is equally as captivating as his on-screen personas. Amidst his personal trajectory, occurrences of intimacy, parenthood, and the quest for solitude have interwoven. In addition to being a union of 2 souls, Robert De Niro and Diane Abbott's first marriage in 1976 was a creative collaboration that resulted in the couple appearing in multiple films. Abbott earned his first credited role in Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver, the film that sparked De Niro and Scorsese's enduring collaboration. Their association began with a spark on the set of the film. In the same year, they welcomed a son into the world, Raphael Eugene. His arrival brought them eternal happiness. De Niro's adoption of Drina, Abbott's daughter from a previous relationship, demonstrated his profound sense of duty and affection as a father. The family operated under the artistic tutelage of Abbott, who appeared in additional De Niro classics including New York, and The King of Comedy. However, despite the glamorous atmosphere of Hollywood, they continued to navigate the many challenges that life presented. The De Niro-Abbott family relocated from the fashionable streets of Los Angeles to New York in 1986, an event that their son Raphael termed culture shock. Notwithstanding the difficulties, the Big Apple was De Niro's birthplace, and the move represented a new beginning for the family. Nevertheless, following more than 10 years of matrimony, De Niro and Abbott finalized their divorce in 1988. De Niro's life was reportedly further complicated during this time period by an affair with musician Helena Springs. The courtroom was where Springs and De Niro's relationship first came to public attention, as opposed to the opulent parties where it originated. Springs allegedly delivered her daughter, Nina, in 1982 as a result of the 3-year-long affair. Under the false impression that he was the father, Springs and Nina received emotional and financial support from De Niro. A turn of events occurred in the unfolding drama when DNA tests concluded that De Niro was not the biological father of Nina. However, Springs persisted in seeking child support, contending that De Niro's prior approval of Nina had solidified a paternal bond. De Niro was ultimately exonerated by the judge, who determined that he was not obligated to pay child support. This brought an end to a chapter that had been filled with both happy and difficult times. A period in Robert De Niro's private life characterized by discreet fondness and the mutual delight of becoming a parent. His relationship with actress and model Toukie Smith is particularly noteworthy. The companionship between the two individuals emerged subsequent to De Niro's divorce from his first wife, Diana Abbott, and persisted for a significant portion of the 1990s. Although De Niro is a household name, he and Smith both desired to maintain privacy regarding their relationship. In 1990, Smith expressed to the Los Angeles Times their mutual sentiment precisely. "The beauty of a private life is that it remains private." This philosophical tenet appeared to govern their time together, providing them with a haven that was shielded from the scrutiny of the general public. They frequently attended social gatherings together during their relationship, with Smith frequently endorsing De Niro's endeavors, such as his restaurant chains. Reportedly, their relationship encountered challenges and came to an end in 1994. However, they rekindled their bond shortly thereafter. In 1995, they celebrated an auspicious occasion with the surrogate birth of twin sons, Julian Henry and Aaron Kendrick, which was precipitated by the revival of their relationship. However, this momentous occasion proved insufficient to maintain their romantic partnership, and they ultimately ended it. Amidst the course of his personal odyssey, De Niro encountered the esteemed supermodel Naomi Campbell. Their relationship was enveloped in secrecy, which both individuals valued. Campbell was profoundly affected by the duration of their time together, however. The individual attributes an invaluable lesson to De Niro, which pertained to the significance of privacy and the differentiation between seclusion and loneliness. This sage advice was imparted during a WSJ magazine interview. Despite the cessation of their romantic involvement, De Niro and Campbell maintained a cordial and respectful relationship. Campbell's account in The Times, in which she describes encountering De Niro prior to the quarantine in early 2020, eloquently demonstrates the enduring nature of their friendship. A chapter in the illustrious life of Robert De Niro, devoted to Grace Hightower, was filled with passion, adversity, and above all, the importance of family. Subtly, their tale began in 1987 at Hightower's workplace, the trendy Mr. Chow in London. When De Niro was still married, she maintained communication with Hightower, planting the groundwork for a relationship that would develop incrementally. Hightower characterized the partnership De Niro and Hightower shared as an ease-in, rather than an abrupt dive. In June 1997, the couple exchanged vows in an intimate ceremony held in Marbletown, New York. A select group of intimate acquaintances, such as Joe Pesci and Harvey Keitel, were in attendance at this exclusive event. Their joy was further enhanced in March 1998, when their son, Elliot, was born. However, this was only a momentary bliss, as De Niro filed for divorce in less than 2 years, precipitating a custody dispute marked by heated accusations and strained emotions in the courtroom. Nevertheless, the circumstances improved for De Niro and Hightower in 2004, when they reconciled and renewed their matrimonial vows in a picturesque setting accompanied by renowned companions. As they attended red carpet events together over the subsequent several years, Hightower assumed the position of De Niro's publicist. The family's delight was multiplied when their daughter, Helen Grace, was delivered through a surrogate in December 2011. During the course of their mutual public engagement, De Niro and Hightower both attended a celebration in August 2018 to honor his 75th birthday. By the conclusion of that year, however, the tranquility had dissipated and they were once again confronted with the intricacies of a separation. This was described by De Niro as a challenging yet fruitful endeavor, with an emphasis on their enduring dedication to the practice of co-parenting. After concluding his tenure with Hightower, De Niro became acquainted with Tiffany Chen, a martial arts instructor whom he encountered in 2015 while filming The Intern. Their platonic relationship remained amicable until 2021. They were perceived in the south of France aglow with newfound devotion, embodying a sense of grandeur and warmth. Chen was a source of encouragement for De Niro throughout the production of Wise Guys, frequenting the set and immersing himself in his universe. De Niro experienced a moment of elation in May 2023 when his seventh child, Gia Virginia Chen De Niro, was born. Chen was officially recognized as the birth's mother. The couple displayed their union in public at the Vanity Fair X Prada celebration that took place throughout the Cannes Film Festival. De Niro and Chen, in defiance of the intrigue surrounding their relationship status, have maintained their privacy while concentrating on their new journey as parents. Robert De Niro has encountered numerous obstacles in his distinguished career, encompassing both professional and personal spheres. Each of these setbacks has contributed to the captivating storyline that is his life. Although De Niro has generally maintained a pristine reputation with the law, his path has not been devoid of challenges. One might associate Robert De Niro with the gruff, no-nonsense roles that have made him a household name in the film industry. However, even he encountered an actual narrative development that appeared to be plucked from a film. Imagine being informed that you owe a staggering $6.4 million to the IRS. De Niro experienced precisely that. However, he failed to become aware of the situation until the government had issued a notice stating, "Hey, you owe money." De Niro, a Hollywood heavyweight with a net worth in excess of $200 million, was assessed this enormous tax debt. This was serious, despite the fact that an individual who spends $125,000 per month on a luxurious residence in Central Park West might think, what's a few million? The tax account was unpaid, and the New York City Department of Finance was receiving a visit from the IRS. In the absence of tax payment, the IRS will typically continue to issue notices. They not only send one, but rather a number of them. Furthermore, neglecting them will result in increased expenses as they will begin to accrue interest and penalties. De Niro's dilemma. Such notices were being sent to an obsolete address, a timeless blunder that results in a costly consequence. However, here's the kicker. De Niro wasted no time in executing the action upon learning of the tax levy. He remitted the entire amount via check to the IRS. Phenomenon resolved instantaneously. While it is uncommon for individuals to casually write a check for millions of dollars, De Niro managed the situation with the dexterity of a quick one-liner from a mob film. This incident demonstrates that even the most affluent public figures can have their tax obligations completely overlooked. Typically, organizations have personnel dedicated to such matters, as well as supervisors and accountants responsible for verifying the accuracy of the figures. However, even they occasionally lose the ball. Even celebrities such as Chris Tucker and Dionne Warwick have experienced this tax levy drama. When the IRS arrives to collect, it is not a joke. Tucker was compelled to reach a compromise when his bill escalated to $14 million. De Niro encountered an additional substantial obstacle subsequent to his diagnosis of prostate cancer in 2003. Robert De Niro was involved in an unscripted altercation in the real world. 4 years after disclosing his prostate cancer diagnosis to the public, De Niro was confronted in court. As De Niro prepared to begin production on the film Hide and Seek, an obstacle arose. Prostate cancer was the recent diagnosis that he received. As a consequence of his treatment, the film's production was delayed. This delay cost approximately $1.8 million. The Fireman's Fund insurance company expended that amount of money to compensate for the delay, and they are now requesting De Niro to return it. The insurance company representatives asserted that De Niro provided incomplete information regarding his health on the application forms. They claimed he underwent a prostate biopsy mere days prior to signing a health certificate, but neglected to mention it. The perspective of De Niro was relatively uncomplicated. The results of the biopsy were not disclosed to him until after he signed the consent form. Therefore, he believed he was being candid when he stated that he had not yet received a prostate cancer diagnosis or treatment at that moment. It failed to the insurance company's inspection. They reasoned that De Niro ought to have informed them since he had undergone the biopsy. They believed that this information would have significantly altered their decision regarding the film's production insurance. De Niro's attorney immediately defended him, stating that no deceit was employed. The actor merely was not optimistic that the biopsy would be positive. In spite of this legal dispute, De Niro remained unaffected by his health struggle. He courageously informed the public of his prognosis shortly after becoming aware of it, stating that he had detected the cancer in its early stages and was prepared to confront it directly, and he proceeded to confront it. De Niro recovered quickly, completed his treatment, and returned to the set. As anticipated, Hide and Seek debuted in theaters, and imagine what? It grossed in excess of $122 million worldwide at the box office. In his career, De Niro has frequently encountered difficulties pertaining to the roles he has selected. De Niro, renowned for his ability to completely engross his audience in his characters, has also been confronted with the formidable challenge of depicting complex personalities, such as Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver and Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull. In order to authentically portray boxers, gangsters, and a troubled taxi driver, he subjected his body to physical and psychological strain. For Raging Bull, De Niro famously gained 60 pounds, a feat that stunned and concerned many for his health. Robert De Niro has consistently upheld a mysterious silence concerning his personal convictions, specifically in the realms of spirituality and religion. Although De Niro was raised in a non-religious household, his early years were not heavily influenced by the Catholic faith. Notwithstanding his father's Catholic upbringing and his covert baptism by his devout Catholic grandparents during the dissolution of his parents' marriage, De Niro's perspective on life and spirituality was undeniably influenced by his father's revelation of his homosexuality during an era when such behavior was less socially acceptable, and his mother's transition to atheism. Particularly when considering the 1950s and 1960s, such a complicated family dynamic would have posed a challenge to any conventional religious upbringing. Possibly stemming from these formative life experiences, De Niro's reticent demeanor towards religion emerged. His reluctance to divulge information about his private life, including his religious convictions, has characterized De Niro's public image. Journalists know better than to broach the subjects of religion, politics, his family, or even his passion for wine. This hesitation indicates a more general inclination towards privacy, which could potentially indicate an inner conflict or a lack of interest in the subject matter of faith. Notwithstanding this, De Niro's filmography comprises an unexpectedly high number of Catholic characters, owing to his frequent partnerships with Martin Scorsese, a renowned filmmaker whose own family has Catholic ties. His performance as a Jesuit priest in The Mission is especially moving and reverent in its depiction of a man of faith. However, De Niro declined the opportunity to portray the preeminent religious figure, Jesus Christ, in Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ, stating that he would only participate as an absolute last resort in order to assist a friend in need. This choice may indicate a personal qualm about assuming the persona of a deity of this stature, or it could be an unwillingness to discuss a subject that he wishes to maintain in private. According to reports, he stated, "Should God exist, he bears considerable responsibility." This statement suggests a skepticism towards religious doctrines that depict God as omnipotent and benevolent, while permitting global suffering. A declaration of this nature could potentially imply agnosticism or atheism, which would be befit an individual who doubts the existence and characteristics of a divine entity. Spirituality, or absence thereof, appears to be a personal journey that De Niro has refrained from disclosing to the general public. Consider the career of Robert De Niro at this time. During his youth in the 1960s, Robert De Niro began his career as an actor, a time and place that were eerily different from the glamour and splendor that it would later come to symbolize for him. During that period, De Niro appeared in supporting roles while pursuing his ambitions, refining his abilities, and gaining experience in a demanding industry. Soon after attracting the attention of those who truly mattered, De Niro secured the role that would propel him to prominence, Bang the Drum Slowly in 1973. De Niro, in his final days as a baseball player, moved emotions and demonstrated that he was not a mere spectator. Rather, he represented a formidable opponent. In the same year, a crucial partnership was established. Together with the visionary young director Martin Scorsese, De Niro produced Mean Streets, which would go on to become a cult classic. De Niro's performance as the minor delinquent Johnny Boy was riveting. The arrival of an exceptional talent was evident, and his fervent, unfiltered performances embodied a novel and captivating style. The release of The Godfather Part II in 1974 earned De Niro an Academy Award. His performance as the youthful Vito Corleone constituted an acting masterwork that solidified his standing as one of the preeminent actors of his era. Vito, who spoke predominantly in Sicilian dialect and was portrayed by De Niro, exuded both melancholy and allure. De Niro's career progressed further with the release of Taxi Driver in 1976. In the role of Travis Bickle, a troubled Vietnam veteran who transitions into a taxi driver, De Niro delivered a distressing yet compelling performance. Are You Speaking to Me? Became a pivotal moment in De Niro's career and an iconic line in film history. It was more than a mere catchphrase. Rather, it offered insight into the innermost being of a troubled individual, conveyed with an intensity that was uniquely De Niro's. De Niro delivered yet another outstanding performance in The Deer Hunter, 1978, a somber account of the impact of the Vietnam War on American working-class steelworkers. De Niro's depiction of Michael, an individual torn apart by the brutality of the conflict, demonstrated his capacity to communicate profound emotion through nonverbal cues. Robert De Niro entered the decade of the 1980s, dancing on the high notes of his newly acquired renown. Following his phenomenal success in the 1970s, De Niro was no longer merely an up-and-coming celebrity. He had attained celestial status within the Hollywood sphere. At the onset of the decade, De Niro donned Raging Bull, 1980, one of the most physically taxing roles of his career. De Niro didn't merely portray Jake LaMotta. He became the character, a boxer who battled his inner demons both inside and outside the ring. He trained under LaMotta himself in preparation, thereby transforming his physique into that of a professional boxer. Subsequently, De Niro did the unthinkable and gained 60 pounds in order to depict the older, more refined LaMotta by indulging in pasta and ice cream during a break from filming. His performance in that film earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor. With high summits, however, come deep valleys. The remainder of the 1980s were a mixture of successes and failures for De Niro. His daring selections for films demonstrated a versatility that few actors could only aspire to. In The King of Comedy, 1982, he portrayed Rupert Pupkin, a struggling comedian whose character was perilously close to insanity. His performance was both disquieting and mesmerizing. Although it failed to gross at the box office, the movie would go on to be praised as an apocalyptic critique of the celebrity-obsessed culture. Through his investigation of various genres, De Niro was drawn to the fantastical world of Terry Gilliam's Brazil, 1985, where he portrayed a rogue heating engineer in a supporting capacity. In contrast to the tough guy portrayals for which he was renowned, the film demonstrated his willingness to withdraw from public view for the sake of art. De Niro appeared in a variety of roles for the remainder of the 1980s, demonstrating his versatility but failing to consistently resonate with audiences. In the action comedy Midnight Run, 1988, De Niro demonstrated his comedic timing and ability to manage a lighter genre with his performance as a bounty hunter. However, not all projects were praised. Critical acclaim for films such as The Mission, 1986, and Falling in Love, 1984, raised concerns that De Niro might have lost his touch. The actor was confronted with the difficult task of reconciling the pinnacle of his profession with the realities of a constantly evolving industry. De Niro's enthusiasm for acting, however, never wavered. He continued his education and honed his abilities while accepting roles that captivated him instead of those that were assured of commercial success. A decade passed that put his perseverance and dedication to acting to the test. During this period of transition in the 1990s, Robert De Niro experimented with a variety of roles, demonstrating the adaptability that would later become his defining characteristic. The decade commenced with a bang with De Niro's eerie performance as a notorious criminal in Goodfellas, 1990. His mastery of criminal roles, a genre that appeared to be second nature to him, was reaffirmed in the film. However, De Niro was not satisfied with simply capitalizing on his previous achievements. He desired to demonstrate to the world that he was capable of more than simply competing against tough men. He literally did so in Cape Fear, 1991. De Niro's image as a menacing ex-convoyant driven by vengeance was simultaneously eerie and enthralling. De Niro fulfilled the role's physical requirements by gaining weight and getting tattoos on his body in order to embody vengeance. The performance garnered him a nomination for an Academy Award, demonstrating that decades in the industry were not beyond his ability to surprise and unnerve. Nevertheless, the 1990s were not solely marked by De Niro's critical acclaim. Developing his comedic abilities, he commenced with the release of Mad Dog and Glory in 1993. As a timid officer, De Niro played against type, demonstrating his versatility and teasing the audience with the promise of more to come. After that, in Heat, 1995, audiences anxiously awaited the cat-and-mouse game between De Niro and Al Pacino's cop character, which created an electrifying on-screen dynamic. The film's success at the box office served as a reminder that De Niro was still capable of carrying a spectacle. With the progression of the decade, De Niro continued to amaze. His skillful and humorous parody of his own criminal persona in Annalise This, 1999, demonstrated that he was not only a versatile actor, but also one who was self-aware. A new generation of admirers was endeared to De Niro by his capacity to laugh at himself and the film's commercial success. During the 1990s, De Niro continued to undertake more personal endeavors. He directed and starred in A Bronx Tale, 1993, a profoundly felt coming-of-age tale inspired by his own upbringing in New York City. Although the film failed to achieve commercial success, it revealed an otherwise introspective and nostalgic side of De Niro. De Niro's diversification in the 90s wasn't confined to the widescreen. He established the Tribeca Film Center in New York City, a location for creatives and an incubator for independent film. By endorsing and promoting the genre of films that had provided him with his initial exposure, he intended to contribute to the betterment of the community that had cultivated his development as an actor. De Niro navigated the decade with the assurance of an expert in their field, alternating between the suspenseful Ronin, 1998, and the somber Casino, 1995. He embraced challenging roles that elicited laughter from the audience and, at times, induced fearful averting of the eyes. He ventured into uncharted territories of film production and direction, making contributions to the industry that transcended the realm of cinema. With the end of the 20th century drawing near, Robert De Niro was determined to continue his career. In contrast, he entered the 21st century with the same zeal that characterized his earlier works. At the turn of the millennium, De Niro delivered a comedic performance in Meet the Parents, 2000. Demonstrating that his timing was equally adept at comedy and drama, De Niro delivered laughs with a straight expression in the role of Jack Burns, an overprotective father who enjoyed using lie detectors. The film's success and subsequent sequels ensured De Niro's presence in the comedy genre for the remainder of the decade. However, De Niro was not satisfied with merely rehashing his gangster persona or settling into his comedic rhythm. Whether portraying a troubled cleric in The Bridge of San Luis Rey, 2004, or a weary detective in City by the Sea, 2002, he endeavored to incorporate complexity into his roles. By imbuing each character he portrayed with complexity, he continued to test himself, his co-stars, and the judges. In the 2000s, De Niro once again assumed the role of director with The Good Shepherd, 2006, a spy film that marked a significant departure from the tone of Mean Streets. This intricate and detailed examination of the CIA's origins demonstrated De Niro's dual-pronged approach to the craft, as his direction was equally as meticulous as his acting. Although his selection of roles was varied, they were united by one characteristic. They were all unmistakably De Niro. His gravitas on screen was unparalleled. Whether he was portraying a bereaved father in Everybody's Fine, 2009, or a jaded police commander in Righteous Kill, 2008. Additionally, De Niro's contributions off-screen flourished during the 2000s. He continued to build his business empire by investing in the expansion of his restaurant ventures, including the exponential development of the Nobu Empire and expanding the Tribeca Film Festival. De Niro, a cinematic elder statesman, utilized his sway to advocate for up-and-coming filmmakers and independent producers. As a patron of the arts and a mentor to many, his Tribeca Film Festival grew to become one of the most prestigious in the world, a venue where films were admired for their craftsmanship as well as their potential for commercial success. With the turn of the century to 2010, Robert De Niro was far from being considered an antiquated figure. De Niro's trajectory, which spanned more than 4 decades, defied the anticipated deceleration. Rather, he advanced with the indomitable force of a goods train. De Niro's enduring relevance in an industry that is frequently preoccupied with the next great thing was demonstrated by the 2010s. Beginning the decade on a high note, he directed Silver Linings Playbook, 2012, a film that effortlessly fused elements of drama and comedy. In his role as the Philadelphia Eagles' obsessed patsier, De Niro reminded everyone of why. He is considered one of the all-time greats through his humanity, humor, and touch of obsessive mania. His performance earned him a nomination for an Academy Award, demonstrating that he retained his magical touch even after all these years had passed. Rich in substance, De Niro's work during this time period confounded the expectations of an actor of his caliber. Subsequently, he delivered performances spanning from the role of a stern father in Being Flynn, 2012, to that of an aging boxer in Grudge Match, 2013, competing with fellow film legend Sylvester Stallone. His impact also permeated the realm of television, as evidenced by his primetime Emmy-nominated performance as Bernie Madoff in The Wizard of Lies, 2017. De Niro implemented novel narrative techniques during this decade as well. His voice acting for the 2015 animated film The Intern may have come as a surprise to those who considered him to be a dramatic actor only. However, De Niro was not constrained by the norms of his predecessors. He perpetually progressed and sought novel avenues to manifest his artistic abilities. The year 2010 was not devoid of difficulties for De Niro. De Niro adapted as the film industry continued to evolve, with streaming services transforming the landscape of movie consumption and distribution. He became one of the illustrious actors to transition to the streaming service with the critically acclaimed The Irishman, 2019, which reunited him with Scorsese and earned him an additional Oscar nomination. It demonstrated De Niro's readiness to adopt innovative practices, undertake calculated risks, and persevere in the face of evolving cinema. Additionally, De Niro's off-screen pursuits flourished. Not only an accomplished actor, but also a shrewd capitalist, was evidenced by his ongoing investment in the hospitality industry through the Nobu franchise and his real estate endeavors, which included the construction of a new hotel in New York City. The 2020s may have commenced with global unrest, but De Niro demonstrated adaptability in the face of shifting conditions. The portrayal of him in The Irishman, 2019, which was published on the verge of the new millennium, served as a resounding declaration that he was not declining, but rather illuminating. In the film, which marked De Niro's longtime collaborator Martin Scorsese's return, she delivered a hauntingly gorgeous performance that evoked both nostalgia and a fresh sense of profundity. De Niro's trajectory during the 2020s was as diverse as the array of roles he had undertaken over the course of his career. He portrayed a talk show presenter in Joker, 2019, a pivotal role that enabled him to delve into the somber storyline of one of the most discussed films of the year. However, the 2020s were not devoid of obstacles. A global pandemic halted the operations of industries, including the film industry. Alongside the global recovery from the pandemic, De Niro embarked on endeavors that held the potential to perpetuate his enduring impact. Robert De Niro's impact transcends his acting prowess and encompasses various other domains of entertainment. Robert De Niro is a man of many talents and even more enterprises than he is merely a celebrity. When he is not impressing us with his acting abilities, he has been constructing an empire that spans the film and culinary industries. Commence by discussing the Tribeca Film Festival. After the September 11th attacks wreaked havoc on New York City, De Niro and his business associates established the festival in an effort to rejuvenate Lower Manhattan. It serves as more than a mere cinema venue. Rather, it is a cultural celebration that attracts movie aficionados and Hollywood's most prominent figures to New York City every spring. This festival has become an esteemed institution in the city, and a launching platform for independent films. Although De Niro enjoys the glitz and glamour of film festivals, that is not all. Additionally, he possesses a talent for designing elegant establishments where individuals can savor a delicious meal. Have you ever heard of Nobu? It is that upscale restaurant chain where flip-flops are not acceptable attire. Nobu, which chef Nobu Matsuhisa and De Niro co-founded, has since become a worldwide brand with locations in the most opulent cities. In Tribeca, there is also the Greenwich Hotel. If you're in search of an upscale site to sleep in New York City, De Niro's has you covered. In this upscale establishment, which he shares ownership of, even the most discerning tourists can discover a haven from the bustling metropolis. However, there is more. De Niro's commercial interests also include the Locanda Verde restaurant and the Greenwich Hotel's Shibui Spa. As a result of De Niro's vision, not only can you slumber in elegance, but you can also dine and be pampered like a movie star. Additionally, for individuals seeking a bit of excitement in their entertainment, De Niro has ventured into the realm of casinos. He is a prominent figure associated with the Nobu Hotel located within Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Dine, gamble, and if you're fortunate, you might even catch a glimpse of the man himself. Additionally, De Niro has an eye for real estate. His real estate development portfolio in New York City includes the construction of a high-end residential structure that exhibits the same level of elegance as his other undertakings. But for De Niro, it is not all about the cash. Tribeca Productions, his own film production company, has been responsible for a number of significant motion pictures. This means he is molding the films we adore in addition to acting. He is also making decisions behind the scenes, selecting scripts and calling the shots. Additionally, we must not overlook his philanthropic endeavors. De Niro has made significant contributions to the community, including donations and support for educational programs, and is an ardent supporter of the arts. The narrative of Robert De Niro's progression, from a young, fiery talent in the 1970s to an experienced sage in the 2020s, is one of unwavering determination and artistic revolution. De Niro has undergone a transformation with the passage of time, assuming the form of characters that encompass the entire range of the human condition. De Niro has animated innumerable tales, spanning the mean streets of New York to the boxing rings, the comedic peaks of family disputes to the intricate webs of crime and betrayal. Beyond the realm of film, De Niro has had an equally profound influence. By fostering up new talent and advocating for the independent film industry, he has ensured that a vibrant creative spirit prevails. His business ventures have exhibited the identical risk-taking and strategic acumen that characterized his most demanding positions. As the 2020s progress, Robert De Niro continues to be regarded as a paragon of excellence. His voyage teaches us that genuine artistry endures despite the conclusion of roles and the closing of curtains. It thrives, adapts, and undergoes transformations, much like De Niro, whose every new performance continues to entertain, inspire, and provoke thought. De Niro is not merely a footnote in the film's overarching storyline. Rather, he serves as an enduring narrative presence whose impact will undoubtedly endure throughout the chronicles of cinema. Please share your opinions regarding his life and career in the comments section below.